and gentlemen, welcome to episode 99 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel. And yes, we are literally a tip away from the Big 10-0. Before I introduce tonight's special, iconic, legendary name, let me introduce tonight's special co-host for this evening. Power Ranger enthusiast and my good friend, Darius JoJo Gibbons.
Hello. How is everybody today?
Very good to see you again. Very good to see you, sir. And of course, welcome back from jolly old England and my good buddy, Power Ranger enthusiast, Mr. Kwame Jacobs.
Hey, and also Turtle Power.
Wrong franchise, Kwame.
All right. Oh, okay.
It's all good though. It's all good. Tonight's guest star, let me just say, I would say is not only one of the greatest actresses in the world, but you know, Webster Dictionary would actually call this woman the perfect actress in regards to style and finesse and acting prowess and so much charismatic. Woo! Not only that, but she's also one of my favorite actresses of all time. My guest at this time is Power Ranger Ninja Storm star and my good friend, Miss Kat Capri Browne. Kat, welcome. How are you today?
Hi, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hey, it's an honor to meet you.
Likewise.
One of my favorite all-time Power Ranger villains of all time, and someone I have so much respect for.
Thank you.
We're gonna dive right into the questions, and this is a question I wanted to ask, and I never got to ask this question on both of our interviews, and that is the raw emotion question. Now, and which is what you're perfect at, like in any role you do. And I'm gonna give you a scenario where, like, if you are doing a scene with a fellow co-star, and in this scene it requires where both you and your co-star to get into this heated argument, like this confrontation. And let's say, like, if I was doing a role with you, and I come up to you and I say, Miss Browne, I would say Miss Browne because I have the uber amount of respect for you. I would say, Miss Browne, this scene requires us to do a lot, like, to get into this heated altercation. Now, I know it's going to sound very odd of me to say and very weird to say, but I need you to lay into me and lambast me so hard that you can make me cry in frustration, not only to tell a story, but also to, that way it's more believable to the audience. If you were approached with this type of method, what would you say and what would your reaction be?
Are you talking about if I was filming Power Rangers or any role?
Any role that is. It could be Xena, Hercules, Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay. Well, I would hope that it was well written enough for me to have the inspiration come from the text. But I'm working on a show at the moment, and I've got a lot of that sort of confrontational stuff happening. And I would say I go there quite easily. I can access my emotions pretty well, I think. I think that if you are just listening to what the other person is saying and you're truly listening, the reaction will come from that. If it's well written, it needs to be well written for that. But yeah, I think it just comes instinctually. And then when you see the other person rise and then you rise to meet them and you've got, like, you know who's number one and who's number two in your characters, and you just play a game. I quite like arguing.
Ah, okay.
In my real life. Really good at it.
And yes, you are, especially in Xena, Shortland Street, Hercules, and all Hercules series. And Kwame, before you ask your question, I just forgot to mention too, to preserve the wonderful storytelling of Ninja Storm, I would also like to dedicate this episode to the memories of Myra's pet goldfish. For you see, a pink-haired legend one time said that her pet blowfish George was doing a backstroke, only he wasn't stroking, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean. Yeah, that's so right. Okay, to George. This is to the goldfish.
Absolutely. Kwame, your question, my man.
Sure. Well, after when Peter gave me the questions, I literally didn't know you were in the Chronicles of Narnia, even though I haven't really watched that film in a very long time. It's my childhood. Do you have any good memories of shooting?
You know what, that show, obviously it's a masterpiece that is done brilliantly. The director, I'd already known for years through Circle, our friendship circle, so it was really nice. We actually filmed an entire different ending for that series, which my character, this green blossom tree, whatever. Sorry, that sounds really bad. There was an entire different scene. The coronation was entirely different at the end, and we filmed it. And it wasn't until the actual cast and crew screening of it that I realized that there was a completely different ending to the whole show. But I have a very, very fond memories of, we lived down in Christchurch, and so in the South Island of New Zealand. It was very cold. The days were very long, but the people were extraordinary. It always comes down to the people you work with, and they were amazing. So, yeah.
Cool.
Good to know.
One of my favorite shows that you've appeared on, of course, from Power Rangers Ninja Storm, which is my #1 favorite as Capri, would have to be Xena. And Darius had a question in regards to that.
Yes, because Xena is probably one of my favorite childhood shows. I remember watching. It would come on Thursday every night at 8 o'clock. So I remember always watching Xena because I love Xena and I love Gabrielle and stuff like that.
Okay.
So just how was it being on set, like on behind the scenes and stuff with like Lucy Lawless?
She's wonderful. She's a wonderful, wonderful New Zealander and human. So I'd started that franchise. I started in Hercules, and then so it wasn't my first experience of what was called Pacific Renaissance, which is the company that made it. But then I must have been living in Australia, and I moved back to do some Xena. Lucy is so generous, so kind. And she thought that I must have been an Australian. So she just lavished all of these lovely gifts and things on me because she thought that I must have been missing home. The whole time I was a New Zealander, but I didn't tell her that because I quite liked all the nice stuff. But she's a brilliant actress. She's physically really, really present. And the relationship that her and her sidekick had was, you know, amazing, and they're very tight friends. And those shows are amazing because you just did so much stunt work and everything's so ridiculous.
Oh yes,
I just have brilliant memories. Pardon me?
Like yes, I just remember some episodes where like there would be like a little giant chicken that they just animated and like Xena would be battling something like that. But I love it.
I know, it's crazy. I don't know, but there was an episode of Xena I did called Locked Up, Tied Down, and I was in a tidal pool that was in the studio, and I was playing my younger self, and she had left me, young Xena had left me, young Thalassa, to die. She tied me up and she'd left me to die. But crabs ate away the binds, and I escaped with, you know, missing an arm and the scars and things. But while we were filming that, it was freezing. It was shot in this cold store. And I'd had a meet and greet with the crabs. I'd actually met these crabs. The crabs were huge. Like the crab was like, one crab was my face. And I'd had a meet and greet to feel okay with crabs because they were all over my body, and I was in like a little tidal pool and there were waves splashing over me, and then they released these crabs on me. It was awful, and they're really scratchy. But what they'd done with these hero crabs, the bigger, healthier, nastier looking crabs, they glued their pinchers closed so that they wouldn't bite, and they didn't feed them the night before so that they were restless and aggressive. But after a couple of hours in the water while they were filming, their pinchers unstuck because that was water soluble glue. So then I just had these really angry, massive, hungry crabs. It was great. So I remember Lucy going, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you." It was very funny. So the panic when I'm screaming in that scene is just like real crabs biting me. So yeah, it was great.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite shows, of course, when you appeared in, was an all Hercules series. Of course, working with Kevin Sorbo, and you had many roles in this. You've had Mandela. You had one of my favorite was Hala, and of course,
Hala's
Wicked Good Times. Do you have any behind the scenes or fun stories you can share while working with any of the Hercules episodes?
Yes, I do. I have so many. So in Herc and Xena, you get lots of bloopers because just back then, it was a lot of work and a lot of people who maybe weren't stunt artists doing stunty things, and I don't know we always had bloopers. So am I allowed to talk about boobs?
You can talk about anything you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Talk about anything you want.
Go on.
So I'm going to talk about boobs. So it is. This episode was which one was this? This must have been the prodigal sister or daughter, prodigal son, prodigal sister, the prodigal something. It was one of the first Hercs I did, and I was filming in a small little outfit, and in Hercules and Xena they used to put in like booby things to make your boobs look bigger, and Kevin Sorbo and I are having a fight, and he's in, I know, sorry. We're having a fight, and I flick my ankle and it gets hurt on his scabbard, and then so there was a bit of, and it was bruised and stuff, and so I was already a little bit off center, and then they said, okay, we need to get this shot before the end of the day, and I really tried really hard in this stunt move, and somehow I undid my top. So my top undid, and my fake boobs fell out. It was the worst. It was the worst. It was the absolute worst. And it's like literally, so the camera's on me, Kevin's there, Kevin Silver, and I. But it was also April Fool's, so it was, you know, only a few days ago, 20-something years ago, and so I went, ha, April Fool's. It was so embarrassing, and it made it to like the X-rated hurt bloopers. You live and you learn. I must have been about 21, and it was deeply embarrassing.
Aww.
But it was fun. But we had a lot of fun on those shows. A lot of fun.
When you did A Wicked Good Time as Hela, though, and you were reading from that book, and then you became this ultimate like powerhouse demon that fought Kevin Sorbo in the end. What was exactly like? What was written inside the book, like in the pages?
I think I had my dialogue.
Oh.
I think I had my lines. No, there were spells with love and affection. So the director of that episode, or maybe block, was Leonard Nimoy's son, Adam. So Dr. Spock's son, Adam Nimoy, was my director. He was having a hard time, I think, in his personal life at the time, and he was having a hard time on set. But I got on really extraordinarily well with him, and so he would lead. Yeah, he had written a note saying, "With love and affection to the woman in this direction," and that was inside that book. But yeah, he's a clever, really interesting man, Adam Nimoy. Growing up as Dr. Spock's son was, you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, of course.
Oh, yes. Oh,
yeah. So growing up as Spock's son,
he
wrote a book. Adam Nimoy wrote a book called My So-Called Life or something like that. But it's a really interesting read because back in those days, Leonard Nimoy was so huge, and he wasn't the best father. He was quite detached and very involved in his world. But his son is very, very, very clever. A great director.
Oh, okay. And
I didn't even know that.
There, before you ask the next question, I just want to say I'll never forget that line. It will still stick to me to this day when you were screaming up in the air, "Hercules is a warlock! Hercules is a warlock! Put me down!"
That was fun. That was. I have a story around that too. Like so when the day that we were filming that, the head of makeup was this great woman called Annie Single, and she was usually just Kevin's makeup artist, but she happened to be working on me that day, and we were having a joke off the side of set. Well, it was a close up on Kevin, and she had like a shirt on with pockets, and I have all the stories, and she had a tail comb. Do you know what a tail comb is? Like it's a comb with the long bit at the end.
Yeah.
And she had a tail comb and some brushes in her pocket, and I laughed, and then I threw my head forward trying to be quiet on set, and then and I came, the tail comb was sticking out of my eye, like the corner of my eye. I don't even know how it happened. So that was just like about 10 minutes before I went up into the harness, and she pulled the tail comb out of my eye. It clearly just went in the gap, and it was fine, but it was pretty gross. But yeah, and those harnesses are not comfortable. You get so bruised around your hips and things. They're not. Stunties are hardcore, and I'm not a stunty. But yeah. I love that.
The eyes, no. I'm sorry.
No.
It went right in there, and she panicked and she just pulled it straight out. We both just went. It was. Yeah.
Jesus.
I know, it was gross.
To quote Lothar, Miss Browne, you are like when you're playing these roles, you are both evil, beautiful, and very intelligent.
Well, am I smart? Yeah, hopefully.
I think you are.
I am evil.
Kwame, your next question?
All right. Memories of shooting serial killer as Dr. Grant?
Oh gosh, I don't think I have any memories of that.
Dr. Grant?
Dr. Grant, Serial Killers. Yeah, that was a comedy series. Do you know what? I actually don't have a lot of memories because at that time, who was my boyfriend at the time, who later became my husband, his dad had just died. So I went straight from like the funeral into that, and I don't really remember that. I remember laughing. It was a comedy. I really don't remember much of that show. That's terrible. I should watch it.
Okay.
And one of the shows that you're best known for also is of course Shortland Street, and this is going to lead to Darius's next question.
Oh yes, and mainly just how was the backstage scene for that as well? You know, especially you being as Jenna Small.
Yeah, Shortland Street is really great. I think it's still the fastest turnaround television that's filmed in the world. So, for example, I'm filming now, and we may do 5 scenes a day. On Shortland Street, you might do 21 scenes a day. So it's multicam setup. It's very, very fast. At any stage, you're doing one of 10 episodes, so it's massively all over the place. And so you have to be really active. You have to be really able to switch from anywhere within your character's story. Like 10 episodes is a lot to jump in and out of. And they basically kind of go, you have to know your shit, because at the end of the day, if it looks right and the camera's happy, they just go, okay, moving on. So they're literally cutting it upstairs while you're filming it downstairs. It's amazing. It's extraordinary what they achieve, because it is just so quick.
All right.
Cool. And let me say, Miss Browne, also, like, so we mentioned before, Power Rangers Ninja Storm. All three of us are, all three of us. I'm sorry, I'm blubbering. We're all fans of this Ninja Storm series. I jokingly said that both Kwame and Darius are like the Myra to my Capri, because I've always been a Capri fan since day one. And I'm gonna get to the next question too, but I just gotta say that your American accent on that show, it's so perfect, and it's better than mine, and I'm American.
I think sometimes it came and went, but you know what, it's fun. But then having done the Hercs and Xenas and things before, it was kind of, and now if you ask any little Kiwi kid, they've all got American accents, because, you know, social media and all of the television that they watch is American. So
yeah,
so,
I have it too. I may be British. I may be British. I got a bit of an American accent as well, but I mostly mix it up with British and American.
give me your American accent.
Let's hear it, Kwame.
You really want to hear it?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it depends. What should I say?
Don't be shy. Say anything.
I don't even know what to say, honestly.
We
Just give
sell
me
seashells by the seashore.
Okay.
I don't know. I bet you your accent is brilliant. My English accent's not too bad.
Thanks.
And Kat, I just gotta ask too. You've had many great scenes, and lines as Capri. Did you have a particular favorite scene where you're like, "Damn, I'm proud of what we just did right here"?
I honestly really love that whole show. So it's really hard for me to. I think what I'm most proud of is that, because we were the first people in New Zealand to make the show, so it was all very new for the New Zealand crew, and our relationship with Walt Disney, and it was all very new. And so we were doing some pretty long hours, and yeah, I don't know, we were doing easy 14, 15, 16 hours at times, and those are long days. So I think I'm most proud of the fact that Kat and I would still come to every scene with energy. So there was always one of us, we didn't really drop beats. If one of us was not quite there and or hungover, the other one would lift it up, and we would very quickly be back to where we needed to be. So most of the time I walked away going, shit, we walked into that exhausted, and look what we still pulled off, you know, the gags and the things. Because so little of what Mara and Capri did after the first few episodes, so little of it was actually scripted. It was just, what do you guys want to do? You're funny, we're just going to film you. So there was a lot of thinking on our feet, and I'm really proud for a bit of ability to do that.
That's awesome to give you the ability
nailed it.
The freedom.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I have a surprise for you, Kat. And after seeing you on episode 59 reveal this, my fiance got this for me as a birthday gift, and that is this one.
Oh yeah, so
and
good.
Of course, my favorite season of all time, Ninja Storm, is in here.
Of
And I
course.
wanted to show Kwame, and Kwame, you've seen the book, but Darius, I don't think I ever showed you this.
Yeah.
No, you never showed me this.
Oh, yes.
It's such a great book.
Here's the
I
Ninja
need to
Storm
get my own
section of the
copy.
book. And
Yeah.
personally, my favorite page is coming up. This is one of the parts.
Yeah,
And
it's so cool.
And of course, Kat, you know this page very well. I mean, not this page, the next one.
Yes.
And here it is. Probably the 3 greatest villains of all time.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Grant.
Mhm.
It is such a great book. I got mine at Supernova in Sydney, but I don't know if you want to have that book signed, but if you got that signed, if you took that round Morphicon and got that signed, I mean,
I'll bring it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it would just be such a piece of having everyone. I mean, lots of people, they'll bring a helmet or something that they want everyone to sign. But that book, it's like hen's teeth over there. Everyone wants that book. So,
It's great. It has every single season from 2018, I think.
Yeah. Amazing.
And you know what I just loved about the Capri character is like just how the back and forth between Myra and Capri are. Like I remember seeing like I'm trying to think what it was. I think it could have been Beauty and the Beach, or where it was like,
all right,
she's like, I think I have a zit, and you're like, your whole head is a zit.
Yeah.
And then if I was a character on that show though, I would say, Kat, you really got to say right here, you got to say in character, you got to say, keep it up, and you'll be just as ugly as Cody over there. And I'd be like, oh, I'm not ugly.
Yeah, so that'd be great. Am I? That was the first episode we shot, I think, and that was one of the first scenes we shot. Yeah.
And I still remember to this day your first line. And if I may pay homage to you right now, and that was Calzax in slow motion.
Yeah.
Trash them all.
Yeah, it was cool. I love my Calzax.
And one of the episodes I really want to get your thoughts on too, of course, was the one that scared me as a child. And let me say, like, not all, and I was episode Down and Dirty with the Capri Zord, the Myra Zord, and the Shimatsu Zord. I can honestly tell you, Miss Browne, that watching this episode with my cousin back in the day, I could say that not only did it feel like death was staring back at me, but it stared a hole right through me.
Right through you, yeah. Yeah, well, that's what it was supposed to do, so.
I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh.
And guys, I didn't like it was in episode 59, but Kat, I still to this day, I don't know how you do it, but you do this incredible villainous thing with your eyes when you are in the Capri Zord and you go like this and you go, so you ready to toast these teenagers?
Yeah. I like to think that lovely Jenna Ortega, who plays Wednesday, got the eye thing from me. I'm like, I was doing that eye thing way back. Yeah, drop your chin, look up, and yeah, still do it.
But and you're also, and Kwame, I think I mentioned this to you too, and Darius, that Kat and Katrina are the only people in Power Rangers history to actually be in a Megazord fight that was in Sentai.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You're right. They did.
And I wanted to ask you about that too, Miss Browne. Like, how did they shoot like the scenes like where you're inside the cockpit of your respective Zords?
We're green screen, all green screens.
I know it.
Oh, okay.
I knew it.
Oh, I didn't know. I always thought they had sex.
Oh, I do want to ask, like as well, and then Kwame and Darius, if you have additional questions you want to ask about Ninja Storm, absolutely. I just want to ask Ms. Browne, like when you were, your memories of shooting probably what I thought was the greatest scene in Power Rangers history, totally talented space ninjas with attitude.
We just had so much fun. I mean, are you kidding me? We had so much fun. That was just a blast, and we actually all of us had a good day that day. Poor and Sal, because we're all doing ridiculous things, and we just so often we'd be filming outside, and there was all these big fights and stuff. But we just got to sit around and watch each other perform, and it was brilliant. Sally is actually a really good dancer. She can really dance in real life. I'm not sure that Mara and Capri are great singers, but hey, it's okay. We had so much fun doing it.
Oh, okay. Kwame, Darius, do you have any additional questions about Ninja Storm for Miss Browne?
Well, I just have a quick question. Like, how was the production of it? Just how do they put it all together? And how was that like being a part of that?
Yeah, good question. It was so it was my first time working for Disney, and they're quite a powerhouse, and especially back then. So we had a New Zealand line producer, which was amazing, Janine Dickinson, but then we had Doug Sloan and Anne and these people. So the guys would come down from the States. Actually, Doug was with us the whole time down here. But the team would come over from the States, and we would periodically, you know, go out with them every couple of weeks and go out for dinner and kind of touch base. And it was quite overwhelming, the volume of the size of the company. We had no idea. We didn't know what we were doing. Power Rangers didn't play in New Zealand. We didn't realize the expansiveness of Power Rangers across the world, particularly in the States, of just how important it was to people. So we were kind of blindly going in there, and then these guys would come down from the States and they'd go, no, this is actually a really big deal. And I'd go, oh, is it? Is it? Oh, at the time, it was the #1 kids show in the world when I was doing it. So
Absolutely.
so it was, so once I realized that, I thought, oh shit, I better lift my game. And this is important to people. But yeah, look, Disney were great. They are a money-making machine, like the whole franchise. I can't believe I don't have an action figure. I think that's dumb. I should have got an action figure, right?
Oh, that's total BS.
It is.
Yeah, I needed an action figure. I would have felt better about that. But look, company were great, and just a privilege to be a part of, really.
Because I've heard from other Power Rangers actors that they said they didn't realize how big it was. Meanwhile, I'm literally having Power Rangers underwear when I was there.
Yeah, I know.
Me too, bro. Me too.
Right?
I had the Jason David Frank once.
Did you? Serious?
Yeah.
No, there was no Power Ranger merchandise here. No, I think it might have played. I don't know which, it would have been the original, like way back when, and then it got taken off air because we decided someone in New Zealand decided it was too dangerous, too violent, so we didn't play it. So yeah, my children didn't grow up watching Power Rangers or anything, so it wasn't. So my kids are 16, 14, and 12, and they now know because they've watched. You know, Pete kindly sent DVDs over, and they've watched stuff. But it was never a thing of my mom's a Power Ranger, because they were like, no one else knew what it was.
Yeah, and you know what, Miss Browne, I say this to this day, like you and Katrina, I always said that you, Katrina, and the late great Grant McFarland were the ultimate badass, kick ass, in your face, put you in your place, you've just been disgraced type villain.
Thank you. Very tight unit. The three of us are very close.
Yeah.
So,
what was Grant like, though?
Grant was just I love how you say Grant. Grant. Can everyone say Grant?
Grant.
Yeah.
Grant McFarland.
Grant.
I'm joking. No, Grant. He'd love Grant. Grant was such a generous human being. So Kat and I shared a trailer, and most of the time we called him Uncle Smelly. That was just his nickname. So I don't think we ever called him Grant. So Uncle Smelly, we just would ask him to come into our trailer, or he'd just be in our trailer. And we were just he was such a father figure to us. He was slow, as in deliberate with everything he said. He wasn't flippant. Katrina and I, we were obviously bubbly, and then we play these heightened characters, and so we'd come racing off set, and we're like, he'd just be like, so he played himself going, oh, enough, and then we would listen to some chill music, and he'd tell us some old stories, and just so generous and so kind. I don't have a bad word to say about him at all.
And Grant, much like you, is very multi-talented. I remember in the Dino Thunder Ninja Storm crossover episode how he was able to blend his sensei voice with his Lothar voice. Like, I think he was doing the scene where, like, this is when the Wind Rangers turned evil, and he was saying something like to the ladders of Shane, Tori, Dustin, a dark cloud is upon us. And then after he said that, and then it was really Lothar in disguise, he goes blending his voice going, well, how do you feel? Then
Yeah.
the two, and then before going full-blown Lothar and going, that's what I was hoping you'd say.
You guys are so good at it. Yeah, he was a very, very clever, diverse, probably quite neurodivergent too guy, and he was certainly well loved here and very much missed. Oh my goodness, how much fun would it be if he was still around?
Yeah.
Oh man, I like my original show when I had Vernon Wells, Latham Gaines. I was like, man, I wish Grant McFarland was alive, so because he was originally one of the people I would love to have and part of my first villains appreciation special.
He would have had you laughing. Gosh, he had such a great laugh. Such a really open, generous. If something was funny, it was head back, just eyes watering, laughter, laughter, laughter. We had a lot of that in our lives. So.
Yeah, and much like him, much like him, you are able to like the one thing that's why I say you're the perfect actress in so many ways, because you make people feel like you can make them feel fear, you can make them laugh, you can make them scared, you can make them happy, and like one of my favorite, like I know it's not supposed to be funny, but I remember when you and Katrina had the high school reunion special, and like you're in your bathrobes with the hair curlers, and I remember you going, and I remember to this day verbatim what you said. You were like, we really just wanted to rub their noses and show how successful we became.
Right? Huh. Yeah, all of that was us ad-libbing too. That was all us, just.
And of course, Katrina Divine, like I always said, was that when you had the scene when you go back and forth, and I will gladly share this, and you remember this one, Kat, in the ending of the Dino Thunder Ninja Storm crossover, when Myra and Cassidy Cornell saw each other, she's like, Capri, did you see that girl? She's like, so stunning. Bevan, did you see that girl? She's like, so stunning. But I'm much prettier.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly. That was fun. She is a great person. You need to get on this because she is.
I tried. I sent out emails.
Yeah, so one of these days she will. One of these days she will. I'm sure. She's just a gem.
One day I would love so much, Kat, would have to have a Myra Capri unit. To me, I think that would probably be the greatest episode I've ever done, because I've been a big fan of both your works since I was them short.
Well, I'm up for it. When she is, I am up for it. So.
And another person, who's I'm supposed to be having on my show like this month. You remember Megan Desmond?
Wow, is she? Oh, that's great. I haven't seen her in ages.
Yeah, like I could send you like her later on, like after the show, I could send you because she's told me to tell you hi. Like she said.
Yeah, gosh, we did a lot of Herc and Xena stuff together. Yeah, she's great. Oh, cool if you get her. I will find her. On social media. That reminds me to say hi.
No worries.
Where's she from?
Megan Desmond is from New Zealand.
No. Which Power Rangers? I mean.
No, she wasn't Power Rangers. She was
Herc and Xena franchise.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now I wanted to ask this question to you because but I left it to Kwame to ask this question because it's a running gag we have on our show, and I wanted to ask it so badly, but I'm gonna let my man over here ask it. So go ahead, Kwame, ask it.
Kwame.
So how does it feel to be a legend?
Are you serious?
Yes.
How? Wow, you should ask my kids. They'd be like, you're not a legend. How does it feel? You know what? I tell you what, you don't ever think about it until you go to something like a Palmorphicon or something, and you meet people who it means the world to. And it's really easy for me to go and put it aside and go, oh yeah, that's something I did, but this is, I'm a mom and I do all of these other things. But when I go to those conventions and I get to meet these incredible people who tell me how it's impacted their lives, then I feel like then I feel like we're all legends. Like that's extraordinary. That's when I feel very blessed that I got the experience.
Absolutely, and I can say too, like watching you on Ninja Storms. I know I'm supposed to boo the villain, but I'm like I can't. I really can't. I'm a huge fan. I really can't boo Capri. I can't. Like I rather laugh with the fashionable sinners than cry with the walking crayon box saints any day of the week.
Same.
Yes. and you talk and like we talked about so many lessons, like important lessons, like Power Rangers. Kwame, you had another question in regards to that, right?
Did I?
Yes, you did. You were telling me that earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Your hair is so cool, Kwame.
Yes.
It's so
Thanks.
cool.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, Kat.
Yeah. You're
Okay.
welcome.
What teachings or important lessons has left you during your time in Power Rangers? Like, is there anything there you've learned?
Anything that I learned.
Yeah.
God, there's always learnings. What was my biggest lesson in learning of Power Rangers? Probably, I'm going to give a genuine answer. Probably a letting go of. There were certain things that happened in production which I wasn't okay with, and learning a rise above and pick your fights, choose your battles. Like, I mean, on the overriding of my experience on Power Rangers was extraordinary because of the cast and crew who I adored. But there were some things that happened that I learned I didn't need to go to battle for, and I could still turn up every day and have a brilliant time and park stuff. I don't have to bring, I think, so I must have been about 27, and I was just starting to get a bit more mature with myself. And yeah, I learned to say, no, thank you, not for me, stand up for myself a little bit and let things go. And it allowed me to have a brilliant experience. I think if I hadn't of, I would have come to heads. So maybe grace, maybe I took some grace away from that show.
Okay.
It's just funny for like a villain, I think, but I think I learned some grace. So
Right.
yeah.
Now, Kat, we're coming off 20 years after Ninja Storm's release, though, and I was wondering because we have a new generation of Power Ranger fans. I was just wondering, what do you think of the impact that Power Rangers Ninja Storm has done on the younger generations 20 years after its original airing?
So what do I think they're doing now, or
like how do you feel about the impact like Power Rangers Ninja Storm has on younger fans these days?
Yeah.
I just think it's extraordinary when you go to these big conventions, the one like a MorphCon or something, where you've just got thousands of people teeming through the door, people in their 50s down to 5 months, and it is a joy to watch. The fact that there is something and that ties. Parents are bringing their children, you know, and that, so the parents grew up on it and they took away so much from it, and then their children have watched all the back episodes and now they're watching the current episodes, and I think it brings people together. I'm always blown away by that. I don't get to see it in New Zealand because it doesn't here, but I when I'm in the States, I think it makes such a positive impact on the young children, and yeah, I think it's doing a brilliant job. I think it does a brilliant job of what it's there for.
And I have to ask you too, like after seeing Kate Sheldon on our last interview we did, I have to ask you the one unanswered question: what happened to your pink hair?
I miss my pink hair. Yeah, I always had some form of pink in my hair because we just played so many different characters. I loved that pink hair. It was better than the roadkill that Mara wore. She had roadkill, and I had like Barbie hair.
Speaking of Barbie, the new trailer's out.
Pardon me?
Speaking of Barbie, the new trailer's out already.
Oh, is it out? I saw something pop up on social media today. What's it look like?
Well, I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, right. Twitter.
Kat, you mentioned like it's a shame that we don't have a Myra Capri action figure. That's why when I did the 30th anniversary diorama this year, I was like, damn, Kat's got to get her own. Like, if I can't make a figure, I'm definitely gonna make the next best thing, and that's why I came up with what I showed you earlier.
So good. Yeah, that was so clever. So clever.
Absolutely.
I would like to have had an action figure.
One day somebody's gonna make that because there are huge Capri fans out there. Like myself, there are huge Myra Capri fans.
But they weren't
Somebody probably.
Sorry, you go.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just thinking. Somebody the other day was right. I don't think were there even Hunter there wasn't a Hunter action figure, was there? Those guys didn't get them either, did they? Or did?
Oh, they're coming soon. And speaking of them, I've met them.
Oh, you've met the boys. Where
Yeah.
did you meet the boys?
It was during 2018 at Birmingham Comic Con. They came for the first time, and
That's
Jason
right.
Font was with them. You know, Red
Yeah.
Time Force Ranger. And also, luck was on my side. There was myself and me and my brother in arms. Well, someone I grew up with from school. We were the first ones there. There was no one there but their agents. I was actually chatting with them, and I got to check out the book, the one that Peter has.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I was going to go to that one as the Birmingham one. I do remember that. That happens
Yeah.
every year, right? It's come up a couple of times for me on my schedule. Or is it every couple of years? But I thought, yeah, I don't know. Does it happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you meet Jorge and Adam? Yes.
Adam, oh my God. He was one of the nicest guys I have ever met. And Georgito,
Jorge.
I mean, Georgito Vargas Jr., you know, he's Blake.
Blake, yeah.
Yeah.
We called him Jorge on set. That was yeah.
Oh, okay. Honestly,
yeah.
when my back was turned, I was checking out the book. George came in, he greeted me, my bro. Honestly, my heart was pounding like crazy. I was like, this felt like a dream. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was an honor to meet him. I gave him a good handshake, and then when Adam came, I was about to freak out. It was just a big honor to meet him. And then Jason Font came in. It felt like,
forget
am I in a
it.
dream? Am I in a dream? I was trying really hard to keep my cool because I've always wanted to meet my heroes, and I got my wish. And
those are the times when you should absolutely lose your cool. Oh my goodness, lose it, blow your stack.
I know. It's just I didn't want to embarrass myself. I did say to Adam, I am never washing my hand again, but I didn't want to make it a bit weird.
That's a preview of next year's PMCC for me.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Honestly, they're nice guys. I was having a really nice long chat with Adam. I was just nerding out with him, telling him what I liked about Power Rangers. He's a very good listener. He's such a nice guy.
He's a good listener.
Guy.
And he's very generous. Like when I watch him in the stalls, he gives a lot to his people that are coming up to him. He gives a lot.
Oh yeah, man! I got the autograph. He did my favorite quote. My blast is bigger than yours.
I know, right? I see him right there.
Yeah. Also, I'm more annoyed I never got my picture of him. I just wish I had enough money to do it because I wanted evidence so I could show my friends him in person, and Georgito and also Jason Font. But I'm more glad I still got the memories in my head. But I'm just hoping one day if we get him on our show, I just hope he still remembers me. But if he doesn't, I'll jog his memory.
Oh, he'd be pretty good. So have you approached him before, Pete?
Oh, me? Like, I'm not sure because I did send out a message. I sent out a message, but I think I would have to ask Shayla for that, right? Because I think that
isn't that his wife?
No, that's his agent.
Oh, sorry.
I think that's his agent.
I reckon you'll do it. He's got. I actually think you'd do it. Adam loves a good yarn.
I'll definitely ask him. Like, if you hear from him before me, like.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go through Shayla for that. It's not something that she would take money from, and Adam's just having a chat. So that's.
It'll be good to see him again. He'll mean the world to me. I'll just be like, hey Adam, it's great to see you again since 2018.
Yeah, I love to have anyone. I love to have anyone from Ninja Storm. I mean, personally, that's my favorite season of all time for Power Rangers.
Okay. Well, Sully's always a hard bet, but Adam would jump on. I think Adam would jump on. I'll message him this afternoon.
Bless you so much. And like I said before, Kat, I don't even care. Like for a Myrica reunion, I don't even care how much I would have to pay for that. Because I'm a huge fan of both your works. I think both of you are not only just creative geniuses, but you're both comic geniuses, and you're two types of inspiration.
I'm messaging Adam.
Did he just reply?
No, I'm just about to message him. Hey, darling, what should we write?
Kat, I'm gonna make you laugh for a second. Because I know right now it seems like I'm keeping a very calm demeanor right now, but deep down, this child at heart is really thinking to himself after like interviewing you.
That's so cute.
Not gonna lie.
We're gonna message Adam together. Hey, darling. Good. On a live where what do we call these things?
PD's awesome guest panel.
On PD's. On PD's.
Or you can say PD's podcast.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
podcast.
yeah, awesome guest panel. You should do it. He's going to contact you. He's going to contact
Oh,
you.
bless you.
He's
you
going
That is so
to.
cool.
Oh,
I'm so
bless you
happy.
so much, Miss
You-
Brown.
You should do it. Big love.
And
And then I'll take a photo of us all. Big love. Hang on, big love.
I just hope he still
Thank
remembers
you.
me. I know it's been like since 2018, and now we're on to 2022, right?
Yes. No, 2023.
Everyone's in my photo. We're sending it to Adam.
Oh wait, hold on.
All right, I'm gonna send that to him. So there you go.
Uh,
Done. He's messaged.
And Kat, you're like what I loved about, especially in the episode Pork Chop, when you played the popcorn saleswoman. Like,
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for that like scene. Like, I was waiting for you to say something like, "Can I get you something with that popcorn? Salt, butter, death." And I'd be like, "What was that last? What was that last one you said?"
Yeah, exactly. That would have been good. See, you're funnier than me. You could have come up with that.
I jokingly, I would tell Darius and Kwame, I said, I just try to emulate Cat Brown in many ways, minus the high heel wearing part.
Yeah, that's such. Trying to fight in heels. I can't fight in bare feet, let alone in heels. So yeah, that was always
Well,
tricky.
but you did kick ass though in sandals when you were Capri. I can't wait to say this. Capri, Rainbow.
Loved those characters. We had so much fun being those two. They were brilliant. And that was entirely just us. It was filmed in this place called the Domain, which is like our most sort of Auckland's most beautiful gardens. It's by the museum. And there was nothing scripted. So all of that walking in, playing this music, jumping around was just us being dickheads. Brilliant.
It was so fun, that episode. And
Yeah, it was funny. The episode was
Yes, it
very
was.
good and well written anyway.
there was one episode, Cat, where like when you said that, I was shocked when you said it. Was like, you know how it is, Uncle. Like, we create them, we make them big, they get destroyed. It's the same thing. I'm like, so long, fourth wall.
Yeah, right?
Right.
You broke the fourth wall.
Gone.
And one thing I loved about the Capri character is that you were not afraid to like make funny references. Like, you know, like how you have the evil laugh from the villain. And in Gem of the Day, you did the same exact thing where you were saying, like, when I think Shimatsu asked where you've been, and you're like, oh, you'll find out. And then you did the evil laugh, and then you did a cough, like, to make it more comical.
Yeah, I love a good evil laugh. Don't you just love a good evil laugh?
Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, laughs, and then also cha is the word TCHA, which Mara and Capri say the whole time. Cha. It's not even a word, but it just stuck. And if you listen to it, we say it a lot in the show. We say a lot of made up things.
Another thing you also say too, I noticed that you say that at least 4 episodes, you go, you want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me? Yeah, I say that to my children as well. I'm sorry, what did you say? You want a piece of me? Do you want a piece of me? Could you say that to my children? Yeah.
All right.
It's a shame. I told Kate Sheldon this too. Like, it's a shame we never got to see a Capri Nadira, scene, because so many similarities between the two characters. I can just picture it right now, like Nadira saying a Capri, like going cha, and then you go as Capri, you go, nobody says cha around here, doi,
Yeah.
doi cha, and then Lothar goes, no, Lothar goes, enough. That's gimmick infringement, and you know it. And then Rita goes,
yeah, that's good. That's good. That is so good. Yeah, those two characters would be, they would be brilliant with it.
Was that your idea though? Like, and I always wanted to ask you this too. Like, I noticed Capri had like the little dots on her eyes, and Nadira had the same thing too. Like, you had like the little circles, like above, below the eyes.
Oh yeah. That's right.
That was purely driven by makeup department. That was their idea. I forgot about that.
So you had a bit of mise en scene, right?
I had a bit of mise en scene. Yes, I had a bit of mise en scene. Yeah, tu parles français?
No, it's not French. It's kind of a key word I learned when I was doing digital media in college, like filming, gaming, etc. What's in the digital media? It's a few key words I've learned. Hair, makeup, like you just said.
Yeah. So no, the makeup department were amazing actually on that show. They did a great job, especially for Mara and Capri, who got to reinvent themselves every, you know, maybe we played a couple of characters every episode, so, or a couple of versions of ourselves. So they were always coming up with golden stuff.
Could you imagine?
Yeah,
though,
like.
oh, sorry, Tommy.
I was gonna say, I was like, you know, like how their outfits keep changing.
Yeah, we got some great stuff. We got to play some really cool characters. So it wasn't even just. I think that was part of the enjoyment of the show, is that yes, we had our base characters, but then flicking into all of these disguises, it was so much fun. We got to explore and play, and still always having the undertones of Capri or Mara. It was just it was really rewarding as an actor to be able to do so many things.
That's great.
Was the movie theater in Porkchop, was that a real movie theater when you were watching General Trey defeat fight the Rangers?
Yeah, it's real. You just said it's real.
A gorgeous little movie theater, a boutique movie theater. It was one of the oldest ones in Auckland. It was it's a really cool little place.
Oh wow.
And I remember when I heard you speak for the first time at this is when I first heard you speak without the Capri voice, because I really thought that like the way you spoke as Capri, like I had no idea you had this, like, you know, so sophisticated, like I never know how New Zealand, like the accent though, like, I mean, not accent, well, that's your native like thing, but I never knew like how you spoke. And when I heard you speak for the first time at MorphoCon 2018, I'm like, my goodness, this woman should speak at lecture halls and universities.
It's a big part of my job, a big part of my career. So I don't really have a Kiwi accent. I've got kind of just a broad. It's not English, but it's not. New Zealanders have quite a twang, which I don't have. But my voice, that's a big mainstream of my work is through my voice. So it'd be bad if I had a shit one. So it's good that I've got a good voice.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
That was the same MorphoCon too. I remember like when they asked the question to you and Katrina Devine, and it was like, well, how did it feel to be good? And it was like, and then Katrina Devine, she went, well, it was nice not to look like Mickey Mouse on acid for a while.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, my headdress was in the Capri outfit was heavy too, but her roadkill was really heavy. They were interesting headpieces.
So you're saying it was heavy, right? Because every time I see Capri, it looked light.
No, really heavy. So to make mine, Katrina actually refused because she's good like that. So they wanted to do to make my head piece, because it sort of came down here, the cobra snake thing. I did the full face, breathe through a straw for however long while they make the mold, which is pretty horrific. Katrina gets claustrophobic, so she didn't want to do hers that way. But I did mine through the straw. It was gross. And yeah, really heavy. Even just the volume of hair that came off the back of Capri's thing I felt like I needed to do this the whole time.
I see. Oh yeah, that's great.
One of the final questions I have before we wrap up is, what is next for Kat Browne? Now, this is the part of the show, you are very familiar with this part, Kat, where this is an open forum. You can talk about, say anything you want, unfiltered, anything you want. I am passing you something which I know you're very good with, and that's the microphone. The floor is yours, Miss Browne.
Right. What is next to me? So I'm currently filming something. I have been for the last couple of months. I have NDAs signed, so it's a little bit tricky, but I'm doing a Warner Brothers 6-part miniseries at the moment, and it is mint. It's a very, I don't think I'm allowed to say what it is. It is a gritty suspense drama. It's very, it's beautiful. It's shot really sort of beautifully. It kind of looks a bit Scandi and art house. And the subject matter is really intense, and it's so far away from Power Rangers, you've got no idea. But it's like it's a coming home for me. It's the first thing I've done of this volume in a long time, and coming in as an older actress, it's such a privilege to be going back into work. You guys will be able to watch it. It'll stream everywhere. Warner Brothers will have it everywhere. So I'm proud, I think, of what I'm doing. For the most part, got to crash a car the other day. That was cool.
I bet that was satisfying.
Very exciting.
So good. I mean, it's all freaking fake, and then you do the green screen stuff and stuff. But like, it was just like cool, and yeah, it's a really cool car. It's like a 1967 convertible red Mustang. So it was really cool car. So I'm loving being back at work. I'm loving it. I don't really want the job to finish. And I'm doing this for a second series.
Oh, very cool. And
Sweet.
you know what would be very like that's definitely cool. And I just want to say too, like before we wrap up here, because we have 4 minutes left. I just want to say, like, imagine if we had a sequel to Ninja Storm, and then you know, like how Lothar had two nieces. Imagine if Capri took over, because if you really look at it, I'm not just saying this because I have so much respect for you and because it's the truth, and you're one of my dearest friends of all time, Miss Browne. But if you look at history, it was really Capri that was the true boss of Ninja Storm, and I could give you examples of why. Because who was running the PAM device good 98% of the time? You were.
Yeah.
Who was still in day-to-day operation basis while Lothar was yelling about some nonsensical thing? Capri. And who was the woman who single-handedly took down 3 Megazords in episode Down and Dirty? You.
She did.
Also me.
Could you imagine though, Miss Browne, if there was a sequel and instead of having the nieces, you have 2 nephews, and if you thought Myra and Capri were gonna play dumb, imagine if like these two, it'd be like this, like Kwame, like let's say Kwame and Darius would be like the 2 of the 3 nephews, and they'd be like, Petey, we were trapped, we can't get out of here. And I go up to you, and I go, oh, and you have this dread voice, the dread look on your face. You're like, oh, Auntie Capri, oh, we can't find the get out thingy. And you're like,
oh my goodness.
It's like, it's called a door, and it's right there.
That's
yeah,
so
that was.
I'm in for that. Let's make that. I'm into that.
Oh,
Me too.
And
Me
let
too.
me say too, like before we conclude, like I just want to say, like being insulted by Capri is like a badge of honor. I don't care. Like Capri, Kat, you could literally say to me in character as Capri, you could say, "Oh, well, we'll destroy you we'll destroy you verbally faster than your podcasting career." By the way, what's your podcast called? Petey's Awful Suck Panel.
It is awful, Sucker. No, it's not. That's awesome. You're so great.
And I cannot wait. You're going to Morphicon next year, right? PM.
Yeah. So when is that? June, July, August?
August 20th.
So it's August, right?
August 23rd to the 25th.
Look at me, I'm going
August.
in August.
And let me say one last thing, and before we say our goodbyes, is like you have this incredible gift, and it's unfortunate you don't have the powers like you like Hayla or Capri, but you could make a 33-year-old something fan and bring him way down here and make him feel like a kid again.
Me too.
That's
Well,
so
I'm
good.
22. I'm 22.
And we're about to conclude. We're gonna say our guys, but before we do, I just gotta say it, and you deserve this too, Miss Browne. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Katrina. You are 2 kinds of inspirations. You're the serious one, and you're hilariously inspirational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, and before we wrap this up,
love life.
oh, sorry.
We got 1 minute left, Connie. What's up?
Oh yeah. Since you spread the word to Adam, because you know he's Hunter, the Crimson Thunder Ranger. He makes sure to let us know. He responds back.
Yeah, I will do. I'll let Pete know.
Thank you again, Kat. Thank you again, Kat.
He hasn't read my message yet, but yes, I absolutely will.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was an honor to meet you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.